Welcome to the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reed, and today is a wonderful day. Let's check out this audio. How does my audio sound as a tester? Give me some thumbs up emojis. Let me know how you feeling out there. Respect to Instagram, YouTube, StreamYard, Facebook, TikTok. Let's go live on TikTok. What's up to my TikTokers out there? What's up to my YouTubers, my Instagrammers, you know, all of my Facebookers, and all of my beautiful people that are tapped in real time. See how this thing sounds. Big shout out to BMO Bag Money Only. This is my brother brand. Big shout out and love to my brother, Hunter Wave King. Hunter Wave King. Out of Vel. He got 99 names, 99 AKAs. I really don't want to mess up the brim, so that's why my hat, I'm fiddling with it. I'm fiddling with the brim. Let's shift this up a little bit. Haha. There we go. There we go. There we go. I don't want to crush up the brim. How are y'all feeling out there today, man? How are y'all feeling? What's up, TikTok? TikTok is in the building. We got some loved ones that's tapped in on TikTok. What's up, TikTok? What's up, Facebook? What's up, everybody? Today we have a wonderful, wonderful show. First and foremost, the first thing I love to do during every show is just make sure that everybody out there just doing a wellness check to make sure how everybody's feeling in real time. So you can send your emojis. You can tell me how you feel through the chats. If you're having a good day, you can say I'm having a great day. You can explain yourself. You can just do thumbs up. You can just have regular face emojis, whatever you intend to do to express how you feel. It's really recommended because I want to know how you are feeling and how we all are feeling in this space today. Because I'm super appreciative, like I always say, and I'm ecstatic to be here because I know that tomorrow's not promised. So everything that we have in our power to make an impact and have an influence here in real time today, I think it's a beautiful thing that we can do those things. Let's check out this. Yo. How does the audio? Give me some feedback. Audio good? Absolutely. The feedback is dope. Thumbs up, thumbs up. So today we have a wonderful show. Today's show is about the winning combinations. In life, there are many combinations that we put together, whether we know it or not, that yields us a return. How we do things. People like us do things like this. Individuals like yourself do things in a particular way, and that actually yields a return based on how you do these things, when you do these things, the sequence of things. So this was inspired uh podcast episode because there's some things that I've conversed with other individuals about during the course of my weeks and my days, and these are some thoughts that's just coming to my mind. I'm like, these are wonderful, wonderful topics to expound about because there's so many life lessons that I started to find out within oneself, within conversation with other people, and I started to analyze how people do things in their lives and how do I do things in my lives, and where do we align or where do we not align? Are there things that we all can do that can be beneficial to almost everybody, or everybody have to find their own winning combination in order to allow them to get to those next levels of success or whatever you deem as success. So wellness check. How's everybody feeling again? Let me see what's going on in the chats. What's going on in the chats? What's up, Kiki? Kiki in the building. What's up, loved one? We got a big wave of a hand. Kiki, how you feeling today? How my beautiful cousins are doing? Hope they all are doing great and they are doing beautiful things. And I hope you are doing well yourself. Yes. Absolutely. How are you feeling out there? Let me see if I can be able to check on the other platforms. Let's see. But yeah, today's episode is going to be great. I love to have these open conversations because it gives me so much more perspective on how I can go through my life and be able to make impact and be able to strive and prosper in the areas that I would love to have growth in. And it also makes me reflect on areas where I'm not as successful as of yet and question myself on why or why not and how can I be, or are there things that would drive me away from actually attending and driving down that road in order to want to pursue and you get so much realizations in life as you experience life and as you go through things. Shout out to my boy Josh, because me and him was just building maybe a few hours ago. I say about 3 hours ago, and he had mentioned something um how things about timing. He was mentioning about timing. Well, we talked about a plethora of things, and we just got into the gist of like how life works and the lessons that we learn throughout our lives. And something just beeped. Anybody hear that? Might have picked up by the mic, but it's all good. But me and him converse all the time. But ultimately we had a conversation earlier, and there were so many realizations that I came across in the moments that I was speaking to him, and the things that he was telling me throughout his life, throughout his life, throughout his life, and the things that he experienced, and so many shared wisdom that I love to impede and be able to expound on here today. One of the things that he was talking about was just about how he utilizes his time and his placement of where he feels he need to be at times. And I'm listening to him, and he had mentioned something along the lines of he don't want to be in the wrong places, because even if he's doing the wrong thing, although he may have discipline or don't have discipline, the example that he's setting for other people to think that what he's doing is to make people think that what he's doing is something that he co-signs or he agrees with. He won't want his brothers or sisters to go down these same paths that he may be in, or if he have the discipline to maintain. So let me just unpack this a little bit more. What I came to understand is that sometimes we do things, right? Pretty much like an adult or a parent talking to their child. So you grow up in a social environment. I know that I grew up in a social environment to where drinking, partying, all these things were prevalent. And I was there and I witnessed these things. There was a time and a place to where it was separated to where, hey, you are a young child. How about you go upstairs and hang out with the children? Because down here, this is grown folk business, meaning that there are adults down there doing adult things. So when I was listening to my brother speak, I'm like, oh, I get it. I know exactly what he's talking about. Don't do as I do as I say, pretty much. When I was even now, just listening to some of my elders, I understand that when they tell me some of these things, they tell me for my better and greater good. Although they may be the ones that's indulging in some of these things that may not be beneficial to me, we like, well, why would you indulge in it, but you telling me not to do it? Prime example, you see somebody that's hooked on a particular drug or something. Using this as a caveat, no, a disclaimer. I'm not pointing out fingers to any one particular individual, because there were times where I was inebriated and I was doing some things and I had some vices and I indulged in so many other things to where even though I was in this space, I always felt compelled to tell my younger youth, family members, friends, etc. Hey, you may see me pick up the cup and drink, or you may see me smoke, or you may see me pop up, whatever it may be, right? Don't do as I do. You do as I say, meaning don't you indulge in what I'm indulging in. So this made me think about those times. When I was talking to my brother was saying there were some times where just in his life that whether he was doing the right or the wrong thing, but primarily focusing on maybe some things that he may not be favorable for himself. He was just saying that when I was doing whatever I was doing, and I felt in my heart that I wouldn't want nobody else to see what I'm doing, his message was always saying, I don't want to be around other people while I do anything that I'm doing, because I understand and I know that the representation of me, I need to keep myself in high esteem and high regard at all times. And I'm listening to my brother, and I'm like, so much wisdom, because I've been in the same positions where I've been the example. I was told by some of the adults and some of the elders and some of family members and friends and people that cared about me, hey, although I may be indulging in certain things, I don't want you to indulge in them, and I want to separate myself from this environment, removing yourself from the environment. When we talking about combinations, when we talk about winning, there are formulas that we all follow, pretty much like a routine, a sequence of things that we do day in and day out that other people pay very, very close attention to. And that being said, it's something that we need to start paying more close attention to ourselves, meaning we need to take a time out, sit down, analyze, think, hey, what am I actually doing? When you start to do self audits and self checks and start paying close attention to yourself, some of these answers will come readily available to you, and you'll start to see things from a perspective that you may not have been privy to before, because you were just in the moment doing the thing and you're not really conscientious about how that looks from the outside looking in. So when my brother was speaking about just how things work in life, and how some of these references and some of these experiences, a lot of times we may overlook. If we start to pay more and more close attention to it, it will start to reveal things about you, about life, and about how society works, and how do you communicate with everyone around you, strangers, family members, loved ones, the messaging that you may leave behind after the act is done, or if you don't indulge and you don't do anything but just stand there as a representation, as a, a body and somebody that has um governance over their own self. What type of decisions do you make when it's left up to you and nobody else is around to influence it? We talk about agency. What do you do when the ball is in your hands and you have the decision to make? Are you going to be or not be? That is the question. So when we talk about this topic today, the winning combinations, it made me think about routines. It made me think about some of the areas in my life where I started to recognize some of the routines that I was, led astray from. I kind of neglected. I really didn't pay too much close attention to, and I started to feel like I'm not being the best. I feel like that I'm not yielding the results that I'm looking for. I was trying to be somebody that is fit. I'm trying to get my health in order. I'm trying to enhance my wit. I'm trying to enhance my finances. I'm trying to prosper in life. I'm trying to build stronger connections. I'm trying to build a stronger family. I'm trying to build a stronger foundation. I'm trying to build up a stronger work ethic. All of these things I had to start to question when I said, well, what combinations, what sequences, what routines are you doing day in and day out that are giving you the favorable results you're looking for, or the non-favorable results that are showing up that's on your doorsteps? How are you handling these things in life when it comes to your decision making? How are you going out there in the world, and how are you making impact? First and foremost, what are you doing to check in with self to make sure that you are putting out the best energy possible so you can actually get these returns, possibly to a place to where you can appreciate it and say, you know what, I love what I got in return, because I know actually what I put out there in the ethos. I know the type of work that I put in. I know what type of discipline I had, and what it required. I know that the times when I could have ate the candy and all these other things, I choose to go with the salad. I choose to go there to the gym not once a day, about twice, three times. I chose to do cardio. I chose to study. I chose to deprive myself of a little bit of sleep in order to put out the message of the videos, and doing whatever it is that you need to do in order to say, hey, at the end of the day, when I lay my head down, I'm proud of the day that I actually put out there. And I know that when it's all said and done, I gave 110% effort. Are we doing some of these things? I started to question myself. Am I the person that I say that I want to be? Am I becoming the person that's actually able to go out there in the real world and put out this energy to yield a return that I feel like, hey, you know what? When it's all said and done, no matter how anybody else feel, I know I gave 110% effort. When I started to feel that I wasn't doing that, my combinations were off, my routines were off. There's something that was missing. And when I started to sit back and analyze these things, poof, a bright light went off. And now I started to analyze these things. I got the data now, and I had to go back to the drawing board. Things started to make sense. Things started to make sense. Ultimately, change started to happen. Change started to happen. Let me ask you this question, just hypothetical. Um, how, what routines are you doing day in and day out that are working for you? Just curious. Meaning that, hey, when I get up in the morning, I make my coffee, I make my tea, I take a nice warm or cold shower, I eat something that would give me the energy to go out there and tackle this day with the best um with the best equipment, which is my own tool set, my skill sets. I'm able to go out there and tackle the world for what I know. I'm able to bring and offer my skill sets to the table, to which I can go out there and serve at the highest level. What are some of the things that you do or routines that you say, hey, this right here works for me? It could be that, it could be disclaimer, it could be, drink, it could be a little bit of smoke, it could be whatever it may be. I mean, not promoting any one thing as a disclaimer. I'm just saying that there are certain things that we all do that allow people to get in their own element, right? And I can appreciate what you do if it's working for you and it's not a distraction. That's the main thing. If what you do is working for you, I would like to know what it is that you do on a day in and day out, pretty much like a routine that allow you to get into that space and allow you to work and say, you know what? Every day when I do this one particular or a few particular things, my day seems just to work out to be one of something I can call a victory or a great reward, something I can be proud of, because I know that my day started off on the right foot and I'm able to go out there and just tackle things the way I would love to tackle them. Do anybody have something out there? Ellie, what's up, loved one? Uh, Kay, what's up, Duke? What's up, bro? I'm Wade Daxo. It says, I can't, it says, Wade Daxo. What's up, loved one? You know, I'm bad with the Instagram name, so people, forgive me. Forgive the God. Forgive the God. Yes. Any routines out there? Mm. Let me share something with you on my note, right? So, what I started to discover that my mornings, I waste a lot of time. I started to figure out that my timing in the morning, I will waste hours, valuable time that you don't get back. I was wasting abundance of it, right? So I said to myself, I started this week, fully transparent, started this week for the last past 4 days. I said, there are going to be three things that I do every day to set the tone and the template of how my day is going to be a prosperous one, right? The three things that I would love to share with you is first getting up, and the first thing I do is go in there and pray, right? I'm finding a way to get closer to God. That's the first thing I do. I get up, I go pray. After I finish my prayer, my next step is I gotta go to the gym and pump this iron. I gotta go in there, clear my mind, pump this iron to get focused to tackle this day. And then the third thing is picking up some reading material and reading for at least a half an hour or so to really get the juices flowing, to put something more valuable in the brain so I can go out there and execute and use this pretty much as my measuring stick about what I know and the things that I don't know, and to challenge my belief system so I can go out there and advance in the areas where I seek growth and development at. Those are the three things that I actually put into play over the last past 4 days, and being stringent and being real consistent with that thing. Now, let me be clear. I would normally do one or two of those things. Rarely I would do all three. And I started to figure out, in order for me to get the most out of my morning, those three things had to be uh, uh, prevalent. Those three things had to be there, and those things had to be in routine. That is some of my or part of my winning combination that allow me to have the best start of my day. Some may say that they have other things that they do to start their day off right. Like I said, it could be some coffee, it could be some tea, it could be watching some inspirational things, it could be prayer, it could be meditation, to where you have nothing going, you just sitting there in your meditative state and you really just connected with oneself. There could be some other things that you indulge in. You may go take a nice ice cold shower or warm shower, or you can make yourself a nice gourmet meal, whatever it may be. What are some of the things that you allow yourself to do to make sure that you have the most you get the most out of your day? I know those things for the last past 4 days have been working. What I started to notice just by doing those things alone, I started to build a different level of reassurance of who I am and what I stand for. So knowing who I am, knowing what I stand for, the reassurance. I have a comment on TikTok. TikTok says it says one thing, one thing that makes me feel like I'm doing good is just to try to make someone else day. That is powerful. What's my loved one that said that? K2 Deck. Shout out to K2 Deck on TikTok. What they said was, in order for them to have the best day, what they do to offer and serve at the highest level is to make someone else's day. You know how powerful that is? Let me commend you by giving me a round of applause and a round of respect. Let's do that. Let's do that. Big clap up. You know, things like that make me so appreciative because it make you recognize the type of people that you have in your life. For you to want to do that for someone else, what I understand is that sometimes this thing is bigger than ourselves. We have to be, you know, people and personnel that are willing to go out there, help and serve. But when you have a circle of individuals that's willing to put pride aside and say that, you know what, we're going to work on purpose. We're going to go out there and focus on giving more than I take. I think that right there in itself is complimentary. It's something that should be celebrated, should be appreciated. And that makes me want to add that more to me and something that I want to do as a daily requirement for myself as well. Um, Making someone else's day, doing something for someone else. And it could be in so many other forms. It don't have to be financial. It could be a simple smile. It could be a hold of a door. It could be a nice gesture. It could be something that you just offer coming from the heart and meaning it, or about just being truthful. These are so many elements that we fail to realize at times that we can really, really offer other people. And I wanna commend you on that. But I want to let you know that by you even doing that, you are building something up within yourself that no one else going to be able to take away, meaning that you're going to be able to build up a level of respect for others and yourself to where other people may come in your life and want to toy with that, want to play with that, and it won't be allowed because your spirit will wean that off, meaning that you're going to be so much of a person that's a giver even when people want to take advantage and want to take away from you. It's going to be some level of disdain and guilt that they're going to have to deal with because you're going to be coming from a pure place. I ran into a place in my life where I quote unquote was a people pleaser. So I did everything for other people, but I was empty. But the reason why I was empty because I wasn't doing it because I wanted to do it. And that was one of the things I learned about being a people pleaser. I was doing these things trying to make everybody else happy, but I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. I was doing it because I was like, I felt obligated to do it. But for you to say that you wake up every day and want to make somebody else's day happy, you know what you're doing for yourself and your heart? You're building your heart up with so much um care, love, great energy. And these are the things that I would love to attach myself to when it comes to people, personnel, and even in my life. I want to be able to give things without looking for nothing in return. And for you to say that, it makes me think about the work of servitude that you do and the work of servitude that I know I need to embody within my life because I know there was things that I was attached to what I was doing only for the simple fact of seeing what I can get in return. That was part of my early journey. And you just reminded me of how these things look. We can really, really get tapped into some other frequencies or wrong combinations that unlock doors that we don't want to be open. It makes you do things for the wrong reasons. And we got to make sure that when we doing these things, it's with the best intentions. It's coming from a place of purity. And when you have that in your heart, you're able to do much, much more, much, much more. Wow. 100% God bless. Absolutely. Powerful, powerful. Man, shout out to everybody on TikTok. It's nothing but beautiful love. That's very selfless. That's a great comment from Lizzie. She said that's very, very selfless. That means that you giving something off their heart, man, which is super, super pure. And I'm blessed just to be in spaces like this because we can have open dialogue about what these things mean to us and how it means to others. And oh, Netta, let's get Netta on there live. Invite Netta. What's up, Netta? What's up, loved one? Let's see if that can go. So we multitasking. We on different platforms, streaming on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. It is super, super dope. We are tapped in. Yes, yes. Let's get it. So let me bring up, let's see if we can get up. Let's talk about winning combinations as we just open up the door with. I'm gonna read this really quick. Let me just read this out really quick because I think it's very, very important to what we're doing. You can have good intentions, strong work ethic, and the right circle. But if you mix those in the wrong order, you end up frustrated, drained, broke. It's not always about what you're doing, it's when and how you are doing it. Yes, yes. It's about when and how you are doing it. In life, we always find ourselves being caught up in the whirlwind of life. Sometimes we could be in our own minds, in our own heads. We could be in societies, whatever they put in front of us. It could be the media. It could be so engulfed in other people's lives when it comes to relationships, friendships, worrying about what the neighbors are doing. We can figure out what's going on in our lives and we can pay close attention to everything else. But what's more important is how you are operating your life. Everybody has the opportunity to run their life the way they decide to run it, depending on who you give your power to, because we know wherever your attention goes, everything else flows. So if you decide to give your attention to the media, you would pretty much detail what's going on the next episode of coming on the next episode of minding someone else's business, right? That may pop up on the YouTube screen or maybe on media, etc. That may happen. Or you could say, coming up on the next episode in the next chapter of my life, which I think is very, very important. And these are some of the things that we miss out on. A lot of times it's not about what we doing, it's how we doing it, when we doing it, where we doing it. It's a combination of the sequencing. What type of combinations are you putting together for you? Because we all know if you aren't the strength or the backbone, or you have the wits or the wherewithal to understand what's going on in your life, how do we expect other people to figure out the needs, the wants, the help, the acts of servitude, where the areas where we can enhance and build fellowship? How can we build together if I don't know what's going on with me? If I'm leaning on broken promises, if I'm leaning on the direction of someone else in the media to direct me. It could be a celeb, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be some of the things that we give our power to, such as vices. It could be, when I, at one point in time in my life, I was giving a lot of my energy and my time to the gambling world. So I was praying to the gambling gods when I put a bet in. And a lot of times the gambling guys would fail me and I would lose a lot of money. And then I would look around and say, it's the world that's against me. It's just I'm just down on my luck, not understanding that my inputs were off. I was putting the wrong energy into the ethos. And then I was getting the return only to match the energy that I was putting out. Let me say that again. I was putting the energy into the ethos. And what I was getting in return was the simple energy that I put out. Let's pay close attention to that. A lot of times we blame other people and other things for the lack of, because we are doing some things that we know we ain't supposed to be doing. And then when things fail us, because we put a lot of things into other things like materialistic things, worldly things, things that don't hold its value, we wonder why we're not getting the return on it. Or when we do get a return, it's one that's not favorable. What happens then? Who are we blaming? I think we need to start first looking at oneself. Good fellow, what's up, loved one? Big love, family. Where we putting that energy at? Lauren, what's up, loved one? I see you, Law. Where we putting that energy at? Very, very important. I love to detail some of the things that I've experienced because I know that we all are living testimonies of our own lives. And make no mistake, I'm not here to correct everybody wrong. I just want you to take a self audit and look at your life and figure out, hey, is what I'm putting out there in the world something that I love to stand on? And when I look back on it, is it something that I could be proud of, meaning yourself? Is it something that your family can be proud of? Is it something that you can go to bed at night comfortable and say, you know what? Although things may not be what I want them to be, I know that I did everything in my power, dealing the hand that I was dealt. I made something work. And that could be simply just waking up in a good mood if you're in an environment to where it's nothing but all negative and disdain and bad energy. If you could say I could fight through that and just wake up with a smile on my face, you could count and write that off as a W. We got to find those winning combinations because everybody has their own combination that works for them. Let me say that again. Everybody has their own winning combinations that will work for them. You know why everybody combination is different? It's because the path that you walk, some other people haven't gone down. Some may be able to relate to it. Everybody haven't walked down it. So the things that may work for you may not work for the next person. Some things that work for the next person may not work for you. But we have to start looking at oneself and figure out, okay, what do I want out of my life? Some could say I'm content, complacent. Some could say I want the mansion and yacht. Some could say I just want a strong foundation. I want a family. I want a strong relationship. I want some money. I want to travel the world. I just want to wake up in peace. I just want to wake up with no pain. It could be some things like that that we all can, get in return if we start paying more attention to oneself. My brother Goodfellas said, you can only control what's within your reach. Ooh, but accountability always hold weight when it comes to any act or gestures. Powerful, my brother. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Let me read that again. My brother Goodfellas said, you can only control what's in your reach, but accountability always hold weight when it comes to any act or gestures. Ooh, family, that is powerful. This is when you get enlightenment. Where's it at? Is it the chimes? Look where the chimes at. Here we go. Yeah, that's that one. That's that one. That's an enlightenment right there. Man, that's so powerful. Meaning that things that are outside of our control, we don't need to have so much focus on it. Things that are out of our reach, we don't need to pay so much close attention to it. But understand responsibility falls on your shoulders because the things that you can control, that's in your reach, now the ownership is on you. Now the onus is on you. Now the responsibility is on you to change that. You have impact in that now. You have say in those things. You can act with your gestures, the body language, the way you act, the way you behave. All of these things contribute to the outcomes that we get. Once we start putting our finger on the pulse, things to start to happen. See, if you don't change, nothing changes. And the only thing constant in this world is change. See, a lot of times we do the same thing expecting a different result. Einstein said that's part of insanity. We do the same exact things expecting different results. Einstein said that's part of insanity. But let me tell you what my brother Goodfellas said. He said, we focus on the things that's in our reach. We focus on the things that's in our reach. And we take ownership and responsibility and accountability for those things. Meaning that if there's some things that you can change, oh, we can't blame nobody else for it. You got to blame self. And you know what's so powerful about that? I think this is where in life they lead us to be cogs in the system, to be one mechanism in the system as a whole, meaning that in life, they want us to play the role that they want us to play. They want us to rely on things in the world instead of putting ownership and responsibility on you. Because you know what happens when you start taking ownership? You know what happens when you say, I'm the person that's accountable? Things start to change. You know what happens? You become autonomous, meaning that you are the one that has the final say, meaning that we don't have to rely on nobody else to make those changes in my life and the things that's in my reach. You know what that does to you? It gives you all your power back. Society don't want you to have strength and power. The powers that be don't want you to have your own power because they want to control that. But you start to get your own power back when you start to say, I'm going to be the sole person to change the things that I can change because I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to put the responsibility on my shoulders. How powerful is that? See, my brother knows something, and he just put me on to something today. And he just instilled some power back in me because now I don't look at relying on everybody else to change my circumstances in my life because there's a responsibility that falls on my shoulders that I have to get up and do every day. So if I'm the one that's overweight, I can't blame the food industry. It's the choices of food that I put inside my body is the difference. I can choose that have the celery, the proper nutrition, the right things to put inside of my body. But I'm picking the wrong things out of the grocery aisle, at the grocery aisle. And I'm wondering why there's areas where I got underlying health conditions. My body ain't feeling right. I'm sluggish during the course of the day. I can't at night I'm having stomach issues because I'm eating late and laying down. I'm doing things just going against the strength. I'm going against things that will actually give me the strength, which is, simply having a discipline to pick and choose, having that levels of agency and prudence, having wisdom, acquired wisdom. These are some of the things that we can figure out when we start putting those combinations together because a lot of times some combinations will unlock the things that we need unlocked and open up them doors. Some other combinations will keep us locked and stuck in a position that we can't get out of. But we the ones that got to find those combinations within our own lives. What plays, what points of contention are you putting together to make sure that you are, unlocking those doors that you want open? What combinations are you putting together? You know what? I'm turning the code on this dial instead of going to the left and picking the cupcakes, the cookies, the candies. I'm gonna go to the right and I'm gonna pick the celery, the seaweed, and whatever else that would yield you a higher return far as on your energy and your overall health. Because we don't equate these things as being primary, but the things that you eat, the things that you watch, the things that you consume, they're all part of your food. When you're watching some negative things on the television, that's feeding your mind. And then now the things that you digest after you getting fed these things is going to be, internal trauma, having trust issues, looking at other people as the ops, don't even know them because the way they look, they race, they color, they creed, don't even understand that, you know what, just because a person don't look like me doesn't mean that they're not an ally. Now some of the people that may look like you can't distinguish who is who because all your people ain't your people. Some people are, scheming, finding a way to F you over. So we got to have high levels of discernment, being able to pick and choose to figure out who's who and what is what. But we start to establish that when we know who we are, and we start putting things in place of, okay, am I a person of good moral conduct? Is my morale in the right place? Do I treat people with respect? Do I have integrity? Integrity? Do I have honor? Do I have transparency? Do I have truthfulness? Am I somebody that walk with with the faith that I know that I have the strength of God within me? Do you walk in that level of purity? Because even when we say that we're not perfect, it's throwing our psyche off. Everybody's perfect because everything is just like life is just a sequence of causes and effects. So in order to be perfect, you got to make some adjustments along your way because everything you're doing is picking and choosing. If I do this, then this will happen. That's how life works. But if you continue to do some things that are against your moral conduct and you don't have that oath and that pact with yourself first and foremost, how do you expect other people out there to oblige by the rules of engagement? How do we expect other people to go out there and play that role of giving you respect if you don't even understand what that looks like for oneself and you're not able to give it? If we didn't establish what these things look like, meaning that for self, you have to, turn that switch on and figure out, okay, who you are. Who are you? What do you stand for? What's important to you? What's important to your loved ones in your circle? How do we all communicate? How do we speak about our feelings and our emotions? My brother Goodfellas said, for every action, there's a reaction. And for every reaction, things ignite for the better or for worse. Absolutely. Absolutely. For every action, there's a reaction, meaning that every time we put something out there, something's going to come back in return. And based on what you put out, the reactionary part is what you're going to get right back. This is where we get people saying about the karma and all these things. All it is just causes and effects. It's all about whatever action you do. And then you're going to get a reaction. So if you hit somebody, say you smack somebody upside their head and they come back and they do something else to you that's a little bit more severe than a slap. And everybody say, oh, whoa, what part of the game is that? Not understanding that you put that energy out there first. You put that energy out there first. So when somebody go out there and up one on you, then we all want to say, this ain't fair. Meanwhile, you supposed to know, keep your hands to yourself. Unless you're willing to go those extra lengths. Same thing, you want to go out there and hurt people, meaning that you want to cuss a person out. You got the seller mouth. So you got there cussing somebody else out. And then you cut somebody else out, and then somebody go there and they jump into a family member that you love. Well, F you, whoever. And you like, oh, hold on, gloves is off. Oh, they talk about the wrong one today. It was good when you left it on me. But when they mention somebody else that you love and they disrespect them, now we say, oh, now all bets are off. But not understanding that we put the energy out there first. Not saying that the battles that we fight, everybody has to fight the same way. Well, I'm I'm saying that ultimately, just the energy, like my brother said, the energy you put out, you get in return. And we really, really got to be mindful of that because it's a combination of things. Have you ever seen people, personnel, yourself can be someone that, man, every time I do this one thing or a sequence of things just end up bad. Or when I do the sequence of things just end up good. Have you ever witnessed some of those things? Have you ever gone through a sequence in your life to where, hey, you know what? Every time I go and I just take time out with my loved ones or my family or my kids or friends or go on a dinner date, things just seem real peaceful or happy. Or I'm in a space to where I got a peace of mind. Or, I'm going into some other spaces to where, every time I do this, my aura is disturbed. This is a distraction. I get myself in positions where I can't figure my way out because I'm knee deep in already. Those are the combinations of things. If I do this, then this will happen. If I act like this, then the reactionary part may be X, Y, and Z. Causes and effects, inputs and outputs, yin and yang. This is how life works. The ownership, the responsibility. These are the things that we need to put on our shoulders because if we don't, we give the power to someone else. And then how do we expect other people to run our lives if they don't know the ins and outs, if they don't know what we really want at heart? Because we can speak about some of these things, but if we're not acting from within and not really being true to oneself, and we putting up this facade and being charlatans and being imposters, going out there and dealing with, maybe just even dealing with imposter syndrome and feeling like you're not showing up the person that you really want to be, then we get conflicted and we get confused. And then we have mixed signals that we put into the ethos. So that energy that we, the want to be X, Y, and Z, but not really embodying what that may be. Meaning that, hey, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna be the best chef on the planet. But you're not really going up and you're not putting all the right ingredients in. Think about that. When we want to make a meal, right? When we want to cook, Slim Sub Love One. When we get to that, okay, we come back to that. We're gonna talk about ingredients in 1 minute. We're gonna take we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. So we have a word from our sponsors, and we're gonna get right back to ingredients. I love that one. Let's set it off with this really quick. We'll be right back. Peace, beloveds. Thank you for tuning in to the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reed, and I appreciate your continuous support. Do you know that over 80% of the people that watch our channel aren't subscribed? By subscribing to our channel, you give us the opportunity to bring on more guests to add more value to our channel. To join our growing community, head over to respectfullygreat.com, sign up for our email list to get exclusive updates on empowering blogs, as well as the latest and greatest in Respectfully Great fashion. Once again, it's nothing but big love, and we value your commitment. Welcome back, my beautiful people, to the Respectfully Great podcast. That was a word from my sponsors. And right now, I just want to give you a round of applause because you are loved, you are special, and I care about you, man. And I know that you care about yourself because you're here in real time showing up. And I know that you care about me, you care about the platform, you care about you. So I'm going to give you a round of applause, man. Number big round of respect. Big round of respect. Let's jump into it. We were talking about ingredients, right? We was talking about ingredients. Now, we all know that in order to make any type of meal, it requires ingredients. You want to go in there, you want to make that burger, right? You're gonna need the particular meat that you need, whether you're eating bison, whether you're eating tofu, whether you're eating jackfruit, whether you're making um, a cow burger, etc. It all requires a base, right? To make this meal taste more flavorful, more edible, something that you may want to enjoy, it may require some level of seasoning, right? Salt, pepper, onions, relish, ketchup, mustard, whatever you put on your burger to make this thing jazzed up so you can enjoy it. What happens if you make a meal, just say, for instance, like a cake, right? You want to make this nice cake. And it may require some milk, some eggs, the batter itself, etc. Oil. What about you make the cake and you forget to put in the eggs, right? Park, what's up, loved one? Miss Gorgeous J, what's up, loved one? What if you want to make this cake and you forget the eggs? Just by a show of emojis, how you think your cake gonna come out? How you think your cake gonna come out? You missed an ingredient. They would say that your cake, may be a flop. It may taste like flour itself. It may come out super, super dry. You're missing the ingredients. What I learned about ingredients, about cooking, prepping the meal, you gotta have all of the ingredients in order to make that flavorful, edible meal that you want to enjoy. Those same ingredients, the method, the sequencing, is actually the same sequencing that we need in our lives in order to yield the highest return. Meaning that it's a combination, it's a routine, it's a set of ingredients that we have to apply in our lives in order to yield the highest return. If we miss out one of those things, if we put the wrong things in at the wrong times, it's not going to come out the way we intended to come out. They say you can't put the cart before the horse, meaning that the horse is pulling the cart. If you put the cart before the cart goes nowhere. The order of sequencing, very, very important. A lot of times we do these things in our lives. We can bite off more than we can chew. We do things maybe sometimes at the wrong time, and it could be a detrimental thing to our success. It could delay our success. It could damage relationships. It could something that may take you an hour to do may end up being 2 days, 3 days. We know about time. Time is something that you can't get back. All of these things count. You have all of the ingredients at the very moment. How you putting these things in a blender matters. How you having this combination put together in your life matters. When, how you do these things, where you do these things matter. What I started to elaborate on very, very early on throughout our conversation is about how I started to come up with this routine every day before I leave my home. Because I started to realize that some of the things that I wanted to get done, I would never get to because I kept prioritizing with other things that really didn't matter as much as my health, my well-being, and making sure that my peace is intact. I was putting so many other things as a priority over those things because I wasn't prioritizing with the things that need to be prioritized. I didn't come up with the right combinations throughout my day in order to yield me the return I was looking for. So when I'm saying that when I left my house, my first thing is connect with God because I'm always walking with God. And sometimes I would neglect God. Neglecting God is neglecting self, meaning that I mistreat self. I don't put the proper prayer in place. I don't put the proper nutrition in my body. I don't put the proper discipline in the ethos. I don't have I overspend in certain areas. I bite off more than I can chew. I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses. I put the cart before the horse. This means that things are disarray. It's a bunch of distractions going on because I can't follow the winning combination that will allow me to yield the return I'm looking for. So when I started to see these things in my life, I said, okay, let's start putting these things in place and start putting together these combinations that going to be winning ones for me because everybody else has their own combinations. So I said, you know what? For me, every day before I leave the home, I got to get connected with God. The next thing is I got to go out there and work on my health because like my brother Goodfellas said, if I don't go out there and put that work in, nothing's going to happen. I need to be held accountable. I need to have the levels of responsibility to make sure that I'm the one that got to go out there and put the work in. And yeah, I may call on God and say, God, make me skinny. God, make me skinny. God, make me skinny. And no matter how much I pray for God to make me skinny, there's still a level of responsibility and ownership that falls on my shoulders. Because since I choose not to move, nothing's going to move. Once in motion, stays in motion. Once in motion, stay in motion. You roll a rock down the hill, it picks up momentum, picks up steam, and now you're a ball to be reckoned with. But if I sit there idle and I don't have no outside influence to impede, to make me move, to get me motivated to move, to do the thing, you think that I'm going to get what I actually, well, I'm going to get what I put out. But the results that I'm looking for, if I don't change, then nothing changes. And this is where we get real complacent. This is where we take the ownership and we want to blame everybody else for our misfortunes or the lack thereof. So when I see these things and I draw these connections, I just reflect back into my own life. And it made me think about, man, Johnny, you have a responsibility. Like we all have responsibilities. We want to call and blame other people for what we want to bring into our lives, but we're not willing to do the work ourselves. Very, very important. Very important. Let's bring it down to time efficiency. The more you get done, no, you get more done with less wasted time. Powerful. Energy optimization. You place your energy in what returns fulfillment and results. You place your energy in what returns fulfillment and results. That's dealing with your energy. Wherever you put your energy at, wherever you want to get fulfillment at, you got to do those things. Because if you don't put your energy in the right place, we have displacement. So we have displacement energy. A lot of time we put our energy into the wrong places, doing the wrong things, the wrong people. Some people don't deserve your energy. Displacement. Some people don't deserve your energy. So you got to be real conscientious on who you spend your time with, who you converse with, the conversations that you have, the things that you want to get fulfillment from. If there are people that are distracting to you, you got to not have conversations and give them the time of day in your life, because all they doing is taking all your energy from you. And now you got no energy to go out there to fight for what you really want. Displaced energy. Be mindful of that. Financial growth. It's a smart order leads to smarter spending and investing. Smart order leads to smarter spending and investing. How smart are we with our finances? What do we do with our money? Are we spending our money before we get it? Kanye said, I think he said, I got a problem with spending before I get it. I'm just the first to admit it. He said, I got a problem with spending before I get it. I'm just the first to admit it. Mm, 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 mm. Sometimes we are doing things backwards. How about we acquire the coin and then we place it in areas that it needs to go? I need the richest man in Babylon. They teach you how to save $1 or what you should do with $1. They say you're supposed to live off 70%. You're supposed to tithe with 10%. You're supposed to invest in 10%, and then the other 10% is it's 70% you live off of. You tithe with 10%. Okay. So you save 10%, you invest 10%, you give 10% away, and then you live off 70%. And the richest man in Babylon. Talik, what's up, Leak? What's up, loved one? So the order of what we do with our money, our finances. How about we don't spend before we get it? How about we get it and then we be able to put our money where it need to go? How about we do like the richest man in Babylon, are showing how to acquire the coin, keep the coin. How about we invest the coin, save the coin, tithe with the coin, give some of the coin away, and then we live off the remainder. So we got to know what we're doing with our finances. We got to know where we put the money. But how we know, we won't even have nothing to put away to any place. If some Andy, see my brother Andy in the building too. Scheme, sub love one. We don't have no place to actually do anything with the money if we spending it before we get it. Financial Jew, richest man in Babylon. Relational health. You attract better relationships when your internal sequence is ordered. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. You attract better relationships when your internal sequence is in order. Meaning that internally, you are connected. You got your mind right. You know what you want to do with self. You know where your intentions are going. You do things with intention. And you have the right structure on what you want to do, how you want to get there. And you put these things as priority. And you build your relationships around these things. Meaning that self-preservation is the first law of nature. So you got to preserve self. But nobody will be able to utilize you if you don't have that strength within oneself. If you don't maximize your own potential. if you're not somebody that has the strength to go out there and be somebody that's worthy of, how can somebody depend on you if you're at the bottom? And I don't mean financially, I don't mean just at the bottom spiritually. I'm saying that if you just at the bottom mentally and you beat down, you don't have an idea on where you want to go and how you want to get there. How can people depend on that? Because you have the compass, but you lost. You have the compass, but you lost. You're going in every direction. The compass just spin around and you have no direction. So how can you be somebody dependable if you don't? If they say like a chicken with his head cut off, and you know unalived or something, because you know the YouTube algorithm they don't like these terms and words. But I'm learning as I go. But I'm saying that I'm just using what do you call it? Some riddles. There's another word I'm looking for. I can't think of it as of right now. But I'm just using some analogies per se, right? Um, how can we be people that other people depend on if we don't have our moral compass intact? If we don't have our moral compass intact, how can other people depend on that? They won't be able to. So now our relationships are affected by it because people want to come and build that alliance with you. People want to invest their time, money, energy, resources within you, but you don't even show up for self. So why would somebody else depend on you to show up for them if you don't show up for self? Something we got to pay close attention to. Something you got to pay close attention to. TikTok is done. Shout out to TikTok. Everybody on TikTok. Big love, unlimited love on TikTok. I'm super appreciative. Shout out to TikTok and the rest of the platforms. Instagram, YouTube, StreamYard, Facebook, all of the platforms. I'm super, super appreciative. Say it again, Lizzie. You're not done. Hold on. We're not done. See, we do these things in real time, which I'm super, super pumped because I love to get the real reaction from the people. And you guys are with me. 4 minutes left. We got 4 minutes left. Oh, 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. 4 pockets full. 4 minutes left. Let's get it. Peace and purpose. Peace and purpose. I love this. You stop chasing everything and you start creating from clarity. Oh my gosh. You stop chasing everything and you start creating from clarity. From clarity. What is it like to have a peace of mind, a clear vision, a roadmap that's designed for you to win? Have you ever thought about where you want to be at in 3 years or a year from now? Sometimes we don't give ourselves those timelines to prepare. We say, I want what I want right now, and I want yours right now, I want mine right now, I want everything right now. And we want instant gratification. We want things to turn over right now. And we don't want to preparedness, preparing that meal with the right ingredients, the right sequence, putting together the right combinations, having the right routines, having the right people around you, having the right environment with you, having the right mindset, having the right. And you say, Johnny, you act that as if all these things are supposed to be perfect. Let me tell you about this. Perfection, like my brother Goodfellas said, is from action. You get perfection through action, cause and effect. Whatever action you put out there, it causes a reaction. Let me tell you what you do from that point along, from that point moving forward. You have a cause, then you have an effect, and then you left with the result. And then from that result, you act again to where you have a cause and then effect, and then you get that result. And then you know what you do from that result? You have a cause and an effect, and you get the results. And from that forward, that point moving forward, what you constantly doing is you making a decision based off the results that you just got. And you may change the inputs and the outputs, but you base it off where you left off at. Pretty much how life works. continuum. That's how life works. So when we talk about things being perfect, they already are perfect. Everything is just causes and effects. And based on what you do from that moment after you make a decision, like Goodfellas said, after you make that decision and you take action, there's going to be a reaction. And from that reaction, you make a decision, you take action from that last reaction, and then you're going to get another reaction. And then you take action from that last reaction, and you take more action. And then from that action, you take more, and then from that reaction, you take more action from that reaction. And it's a continuum. The cycles continue. That's how that works. But a lot of times we miss out on, man, that didn't work. Or it's going to be too long. How long is it going to take? We don't know because it's all based on your decision making. How long it takes you to get there is based off your decision making. How wise are you? Did you collect the data? What type of decisions were you making when you say, let me get the candy or should I get the celery? If you keep picking the candy, now you say, out of that candy, should I get more candy or a cupcake? The celery is not even in the picture anymore. It goes from candy. Should I do candy or cupcake? Should I do cupcake or ice cream? Should I do ice cream or something else? Or something else that's more fattening? You took out the celery. The celery is not even in the picture anymore. When you had the initial decision from the candy or the celery, I'm gonna go with the celery. Should I do celery or grapes? I think I'll do the grapes. Should I do the grapes or the watermelon? I'll do the watermelon today. Or should I do the watermelon or some other fruit or some other vegetable? That's what happens with your psyche. You start picking up your decision making. In life, that's how these things work. So the more and more we start putting more up here and getting wiser in our decision making, time will tell itself because all it is a circle. Everything keeps coming right back around to us. Everything just keep coming back around to us. We look at time as a linear thing. Like if I don't get this done today, man, I can't wait 2-3 years from now. See what people don't understand, right? Some people may say, I can't wait 2 or 3 years from now and do nothing. Some people say, I got 2-3 years to work with, and I'm gonna do everything in my power within that 2 or 3 years. And when that 2 or 3 years shows up, they in a different place because they took action when the other person just talked about, I'm not gonna put that work in because it ain't worthwhile or it's too long. So while you sitting back contemplating on whether you should take action or not, when the other person is taking action 2-3 years from now, you know where they'll be at that same marker where they projected themselves to be. So now from that point on, they could go and make the next decisions that affect their lives for the near future, which will be further along their journey. It's not about when. It's about what are your inputs, what are your outputs? What action are you taking today that's going to yield a different return? We can find 99 excuses on why things don't work. We can blame people, places, things. We can name the people that failed you. We can name the environments that failed you. You can say the lack of having whatever materialistic things, money included. We can say all of these things. And then we could blame those things because we're looking at somebody else to blame the point finger at. My brother said, Goodfellas said, consistency plus structure. Powerful. Consistency and structure. Do you know why they have blueprints to build buildings? Because if they don't have a blueprint, the plumbers don't know where the plumber need to go. The carpenters don't know where the carpentry need to go. The people that's putting up the studs don't know where the studs need to go. They don't know how to section off the rooms. They don't know how to put the base for the floors. Everybody has to have a blueprint. So if you think you're gonna just wing your life and things are going to miraculously happen to you in your life, it's not going to work. You're gonna have a lopsided building that's going to collapse like Jenga. You just stacking Jenga pieces all over. It ain't gonna work. You have to be consistent and you gotta have the structure. You gotta have that blueprint, meaning that you gotta come up with your blueprint and you gotta go out there and execute that through consistency, showing up through action. I have a comment on TikTok really quick. It says 4,500. I think it might be Timmy, my brother Timmy. I was talking about the God the other day too. It says true facts because instant gratification isn't always the key. Set a goal on patience. Ooh, powerful. Set a goal on patience. How many people are impulsive? Being patient, super, super key. My life took a major, major turn from me being impulsive. Not major turn. I lost 2.5 years of my life for being impulsive. And I remember the day that I lost all of my senses because I was caught up with my emotions and my roadmap was off and my moral compass was off. I was being somebody that I wasn't built up to be. I was playing a role of somebody that I wasn't internally. Everything was in disarray and everything was off because I didn't possess patience. Who my brother said that so eloquently. Eloquently. That's powerful. I think that my brother Timmy Rob. I think my brother Tim Rob. Peace God. Yeah, it's funny. On the topic, if it is Tim, me and my brother Pude, we were talking about the God about 4 weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, and this is how the laws of the universe work. I mean, I'm telling you, things got funny ways of always working out, and we're always working in a way when you're out there putting in that energy and you putting in that work. But patience is the virtue. Always family. Yep, it is the God. Tim, what is born family? Nothing but unlimited love. Me and Pude were talking about you about a month ago. We was watching your story. You just a naturally funny. I swear to God, this is one of the funniest people. One of the funniest people I know, family. Is my relative. And the thing is, we was just talking about people being in a natural element. Me and my brother was just watching one of your stories, family, and you wasn't even doing that. You was singing. You know, you was listening to a song, singing. You was doing something, just chilling. And me and my brother was just sitting there, losing our minds, just laughing our asses off. And it's because you just being who you are, and you have a gift and an act just to be a naturally funny individual, character wise. And these are the things where I talk about when you are in your element. There's nothing or no one that can take you out of it because it's innate in you when you're being true to yourself. And these are the things that we naming and talking about all day today. Today's about really finding your own combination, finding your own routine, finding your own ingredients, what works for you, finding your own structure. What actions are you taking to cause that reaction? What inputs are you putting to get that output? All of these things are key. But we keep equating these things to somebody else and not understanding that the responsibility falls on our shoulders, from the words of my brother Goodfella. Big Fendi. Big Fendi. I'm telling you, man, these things, it don't, we think these things happen by happenstance, by chance. Mm-mm. These things don't happen by chance. These things are designed. And guess who is the designer? These things are designed. And guess who's the designer? You are. Because every decision that you make is designing your future. Every decision that you are making is designing your future. And this is what we miss out on. So when we go out there and we blame other people, we blame your supreme, the Almighty, whoever you pray to, whoever you give your power to, or whoever you yield to. We want to blame all of these things, environments, people, places, things. We blame these people and blame these things, and not understanding that we are the ones that's designing everything that's happening in our lives. And once we start taking that ownership, things will start to change. It may not happen overnight because we all know that patience, that instant gratification, we got to do without, because we know that that one decision is going to lead to another decision. It's going to lead to another decision. And the more and more that we keep building up our prudence and being wiser with our decision making, now when we 10 decisions down the line, the probability of you getting a more favorable outcome. Now you picking at a not the first and second best options versus the ninth and the 10th worst options, because you didn't go and digress from poor decision to another poor decision to another poor decision to another poor decision, from another poor decision to another poor decision. You went from a poor decision to a good decision, from a good decision to a better decision, from a better decision to one that's even more better, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now when you get further down the line, you can take 10 steps in each direction, 10 steps in the direction of where you want to be at, or 10 steps backwards because of the lack thereof, and you don't have the insight or the willingness to go out there and say, you know what, let me do what I know. um even though at heart I may want to indulge in some things that, for right now, for instant gratification, but if I delay that a little bit, if I delay that process a little bit, meaning that I don't just jump for the candy. Let me just put the celery inside of my body and get that as far as a nutritional value. Let me just, eat more healthier things. I know later on down the line, I could lose some of this gut versus gaining more pounds. That's how decisions work. Jay, what's up, loved one? So it's powerful, man. Our decisions are powerful. Let's get down to few more things, and I don't want to hold up the rest of your night because I felt this was a very, very powerful night for all the insights and everybody that showed up. I want you to continually love yourself because you're doing it. You are doing it in real time, and I want to let you know that you appreciate it because you are sharing it here with me. You guys are sharing your wisdom, and I'm taking so many things that I'm gonna go back to the drawing board with and make sure that I implement some of these things. I make sure that I'm aware of uh having patience, like my man Timmy, my cousin Timmy said, my brother Goodfella telling me about having those inputs and those outputs and being real disciplined about the actions we take, and understand that those reactionary things, it does something to us. The responsibility falling on our shoulders, being accountable. Food for thought. Thank you. No, thank you, loved one. It's my brother Goodfella. It's my brother. Always shedding his insight and always thinking. You know what I love about you, Quincy? Like, y'all think so much further down the line of how big things can get. And I love about the ideas that you share. Like, I heard something along the lines from a guy named Nehemiah Davis, and he said that how you kill a big dream is by sharing it with a small mind. How you kill a big dream is by sharing it with a small mind. And every time that I come in contact with you, you always think about how to improve things. And that's a quality that I always give my mom so much uh uh so much praise towards. And you do the same thing. That's a quality within both of you that I really look up to, and I really want to always implement that within myself. Of, how do I improve? How do I take this idea and build on it? How do I make this idea bigger? How do I take these thoughts and these perspectives and magnify it, so now we could just be able to add more? Those things are powerful. In a way, what's up, loved one? Big bro in the building. Yo, Pooh, I'm on TikTok with Timmy, right? Off topic. What we was talking about about a month ago? Me and you was in the truck just cracking up. We was watching the guard Timmy on TikTok, one of the social media platforms, and me and you was losing it. This how the universe works. It's powerful, family. So powerful. And the God, huh? It was Instagram. I think it was on Instagram. When me and you, Lizzie, was in the truck. Crazy, right? It might have been a gram, and the God tapped in today on TikTok. But that's how the universe works. Powerful. These things always come around full circle. Everything comes around full circle. And I'm super appreciative and proud that I can share these moments in real time because I want to let all you guys know that you all impact me in so many profound ways, in ways that you may not never know, because it's a reminder of who I need to be in my life. Because I know Goodfellas being Goodfella at all times. I know Timmy's being Timmy at all times. I know 100 Waves being him all times. I see Slim being him all times. Park being him on all times. Talik being him at all times. Lizzie being her at all times. Miss Gorgeous being her at all times. Everybody that tapped in today, oh man, it's Andy being him at all times. I mean, it's just a plethora of individuals that's always showing up and being themselves. And that's what I commend because it's a reminder of who I need to be in my life. I can't be someone else, and someone else can't be a better version of me. The only person that could be me better than me is me. So that means that there's nobody in the world that can take your place. And a lot of times we feel threatened because society put us at odds with one another. They did this during times in our lives, even right now. They put white against black, black and blue against blue, blue against green, light skin against dark skin. We did this. We seen this in the ISIS papers. Not the ISIS papers. We seen this in Willie Lynch in the Willie Lynch theory, where they did this on how to break a slave. So the psychology is what they put in place to make us feel like we have to, always be at odds. Tim, what would the brothers, what would the God say? He said, Amen. He said, we still us, but smarter. Absolutely, family. We still us, but smarter. That's a fact. We still us. And we just have more experiences. Um, we have more wisdom. We have gone through things in our lives to make us and shape and mold us to who we are. But intrinsically, when we are being who we are, true at heart, that doesn't go away. We just advance that. They call it ESP, extra sensory perception, meaning that that's when you start turning into a superhuman, and we have that potential. People think ESP is not real. ESP is real. There's people out there in the world right now that has sensories that we have lost as regular human beings, meaning that we don't have the ability to hear dog whistles. But there are people out there that can hear that same whistle as a dog. So there's an extra sensory somewhere deep down in a DNA that still allowed them to tap in on that higher level. What happens when we start thinking like that and we start putting the proper nutrition in our bodies and we start acting out, we start feeding our bodies the right things and start thinking the right things, start connecting the right way? What happens when we start doing those type of things? You think we can't perform miracles? How they put these pyramids together? It's still what's it called? It's still mythical. Not still. What's the right word? I almost say mythical. It's still a enigma. Still enigma. Still puzzling out there. It's still something that they can't comprehend. They don't even know. Pooh said, "Me, the dog whistler, the dog whisperer." My brother crazy. Give yourself a clap one time, King. Absolutely. Give himself a big clap. My brother said he's the dog whisperer. Unbelievable, man. That's powerful, man. You know what, yo, we gonna end it right there, man. Today, yeah, I swear that's powerful, dog. That's the right way we gonna end it tonight, man. I swear, today was a powerful build, and man, that's a good laugh right there. I'm super appreciative, and I always want to highlight that because it means a lot to me. It means a lot that you guys are willing to sit down and build with me, and that's more powerful than anything. Building that fellowship, building that communication, and trusting that it's a space to where we all can speak and bring our shared wisdom to where we can learn to be better individuals for tomorrow. So that's why I'm appreciative, because if I didn't have the platform to have the conversation, I just be talking to the wall. And you guys don't make me feel alone. You make me feel a part of. And I love you. I love you more. Love you more, Hunter Wave. I love everybody here. I love you more, family. It makes me feel like together there's so many things that we can do wonderful together and by ourselves, in the sense of just keep continuously building ourselves up and we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Trust me, we're gonna get there. And it takes the patience, like Timmy said. It takes the patience, and it takes the action. We got to be actionary people. My brother Goodfellas said we got to be actionary people. Those two things right there alone set the tone for me for for the rest, for the rest of my progression. I'm gonna implement those patience, remind myself, don't be somebody that's super impulsive. Don't be somebody who's super impulsive. Have patience. And also, my brother Goodfella, be somebody of action. Be a man of your word. Stand up for what you believe in. Take action. And then out of that action is going to be a reaction. So whatever I want from that, understand I gotta put the right things in to get the return that I'm looking for. So today was a powerful build, man. Sponsored by, just give one more shout out to the sponsors. One of the sponsors is Respectfully Great. Absolutely. Go shop today at respectfullygreat.com. Get your latest and greatest in respectfully great fashion. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If it's something that you enjoyed today, always love to say this as well. Let me get the other sponsor, 100 Wave King. BMO, bag money only. Shoot that real quick. Hello. Hello, Brimlow like that. Hello. Yeah, we in there. See that? Um, yeah, keep the brim right. As a disclaimer, if there's some things uh that you didn't agree with, understand this from the sentiment that we didn't. It wasn't with the intentions to hurt. It was only the intentions to help, and that's the premise. Ultimately, if there's things that you can walk away with, that you can take and you can utilize it, please do so, and come back and share with us and let us know how it worked out for you, because we are people of trial and error. So we're going to continuously do things, and we're going to get a response, and we want to be able to um take these things and implement them in our own lives and see how it impacts other people's lives. So that's the power that we have as individuals, and how we and the power that we have as a collective, as a unit. Talk to me. One more comment. What the God say? It says, my brother wrote one more. He said, if everything that you do that's positive, you stand on, it it can go. It jumped up. Oh, and it can go full throttle, tunnel vision, big Fendi. That's a fact. Everything that you do, you have tunnel vision. You can go full throttle. It's up. It says prayers goes up and the blessings will fall. Absolutely. Those blessings goes up and those prayers will fall. Super, super powerful, family. Geneva, what's up, sis? My sister in the building, Geneva. Go cop her book too. What my book at? My bookcase at? My sister Geneva, go cop my sister Geneva book. Absolutely. It's the pink and the white. I'm gonna showcase that, sis. Absolutely. Absolutely. Super, super blessed. Somewhere in the bookshelf, I got a lot of books over there. Got so many books over there. Don't worry about it. It's so good. Shout out to my sister Geneva, and go purchase merch immediately. Go purchase that book. It's a beautiful thing to where you be able to track your daily life and how you can journal. So many things that I put inside of my journal, because I need to write down every day on my thoughts, my feelings, and my emotions, and making sure that I can go back and reflect, and making sure that um I'm going in the right direction, because there's some things that may leave us astray. Make sure that I'm not distracted by the noise. They say you got to focus on signal to noise. This is the same thing that Kevin O'Leary, the guy on Shark Tank, when he used to work under Steve Jobs, he said Steve Jobs' signal to noise was 80-20. 80% he got signal, meaning focus. 80% focus at all times, 20% noise. Powerful, powerful, powerful. So it says, appreciate you. All that's light work, sis. That's mandatory. Absolutely. Absolutely. The name of the book is The Gratitude Guide. The Gratitude Guide. That's the name of the book. Go check it out on uh, Amazon. Type it in your Google searches. One more time. The Gratitude Guide. Go get that. Go get that. Oh man, it's so powerful. It's aligning me. That's what that book is doing for me. I'm telling you, man, we have a beautiful community of beautiful people with so much insight, so much intellect, so much prosperity, so much gifts. And sis, I watch you on your ballet. Your ballet game is immaculate. I'm super, super proud of you, sis, of doing what you need to do. And it takes so much discipline. It takes so much poise. It takes so much posture. It takes a lot to do what you do. And these are the skill sets that we all learn along our journeys that we can implement with oneself and go out there and teach. And that's a gift in itself because you acquired the patience to do that. So everybody, I'm super proud of everybody. Just continue to go out there and finding your way. Put together those combinations that work for you because it's going to yield you a return that's going to be favorable in due time. And give yourself the patience, give yourself the time to go out there and work that because you are the gift, you are that seed that's planted. Everything that comes, everything that's by design is you. You're the designer. Everything is designed by you. Of course, we get the praise to the Most High, but you are the designer of what's going on in real time because it's based on your decision making. So I'm gonna sign out like that. I love you guys. Continue to go out there and make things work. And I will see you back next week, 7 p.m. same bat time. Respectfully great on all platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and all of those things. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and then we gonna do what we gotta do, man. Anybody else that you know that want to come up on the platform in due time, tell them holla at me, shoot the DM, and we have some great, great dialogue. Because I always look forward to other people coming on the platform and sharing their expertise and their testimony. So I'm proud of you guys. Stay proud of yourself, and don't ever forget that you are loved and you are blessed. Respectfully.